All right, we are back. We are so back. You ever wonder about all these phrases people are saying these days? Like the other day, last week, I was at a tire shop getting tires put on my semi trailer. It's a step deck, 53-foot split axle trailer. I haul pipe mostly, and sometimes pallets and equipment and shit like that. So I'm at the tire shop and I had a flat and I had another one that was leaking and I needed some tires. And it's just so funny. Like the kid that was working there was a young kid and he was like, "Yeah, one of your tires is cooked. One of my tires is cooked." Everybody's saying cooked a lot. That's cooked. He's cooked. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, I know obviously somebody invented every word that we use, and we're gonna use words that were invented a while ago, but it's like that's the new one, cooked. Or crash out when people, it used to be called flip out, now it's crash out, everybody. And this isn't just young people either. This is like people my age, 30s and 40s, saying crash out. Crash out, man. Like, does anybody have their own fucking brain? Does anybody have their own ideas, or is it just you hear something and now everybody's saying it because it's on Instagram? I don't know. No one has a mind of their own. No one can do anything. But everybody thinks they're so fucking smart. Crash out. Think of something else to say. Another one is like this maxing thing. Looks maxing. Whatever maxing. And it's funny if you're doing it in an ironic way. You're saying retard maxing or something. Like that's funny. But that's kind of like ironic and stupid anyway. So you're just kind of playing off that. But like people talk about looks maxing a lot. And I don't get it. I mean, isn't that always the thing? To try to look your best? Just try to look your best. Don't say look. When you're saying looks maxing, you're just retard maxing. And I don't know about you guys, and I don't know if you're saying this stuff, but just stop. Literally come up with your own fucking words and phrases. You can do it. Does anybody's brain even think of this shit without drugs? I do. Telling you, man. It's such a cliche thing to say, like kids these days, this, kids these days. It's not just the kids, it's the fucking adults too. And one of the things you realize when you grow up is that no one's actually a fucking adult. Like, yeah, maybe my grandpa was a fucking adult. My grandpa that fought in World War II and had four kids and like worked his whole fucking life and had one wife his whole life. Yeah, that was a man. And I guess I could consider myself a man because I'm in my late 30s and I'm a veteran and I drive a truck and fucking, work out and all that kind of stuff. You know, uh, I think like religion becomes more important as you age. At least in my case, it did. Um, but nobody's a fucking adult. When I was a child and I thought of a 37, 38-year-old man, I thought that was an adult, but this isn't what I thought it would be like, you know, when I was a kid. Um, People don't know anything. And I could say I'm the same. I know about the things that I've done and the places that I've been and the people that I've met in my life, but that doesn't necessarily translate to anybody else. But anyway, kids these days, they're fucked. I mean, I really think they're fucked. It's like the pandemic in their childhood fucked them up. And then they're also completely growing up online. Now, I was born in 88, so cell phones came out when I was, cell phones were around and shit, but like everybody had like a Nextel by the time I was 15, 16 or something like that. And I had one too. But it wasn't like that serious. It was literally just a form of communication, and you had the two-way, the beep beep talk thing, and that was pretty cool. It was like a fucking radio. And you could text, but it was like old school texting, like hitting all the numbers and shit. And that was cool. And, Facebook existed and MySpace existed back then, but not everybody had a Facebook, and it was like just you needed a college email back then. And MySpace kind of changed the game quite a bit. And then, Facebook changed into something else like what it is today. And Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and all these kids that are, from 0 to 20 years old now are just totally cooked. No pun intended. Cooked. Your tires are cooked. Bro, you work in a tire shop. Just say it's fucking flat. Holy shit. Tell me what's wrong with it. Tell me there's a tear in the sidewall. Tell me anything but cooked. You're not a fucking chef, man. You fucking idiot. Like, just TikTok brain retards everywhere. And this is happening to adults, too. Don't get me wrong. This is happening to millennials. Millennials, which is what I am. But these Gen Z kids, they never had a chance. They never had a chance at a brain. And it's not school, because school is really, like, on you to learn and grasp the concept of things. And when you're an adult and you can't do a simple math problem or figure out how to get the answer to a problem, you failed yourself. Like, the school system's not failing you. You failed yourself. I watch my friends' kids sometimes, and I just wonder how they would survive on their own, even once they're over 18. I just look at them and I'm just like, you're fucked. And, when I was 15 and 16, my friends and I would just go out and do drugs and commit crimes and steal things and get in brawls and all kinds of shit. And we weren't like living our lives online. And I'm not saying like any of that stuff was good, but these kids aren't getting in fights. These kids aren't doing drugs, and maybe they should. Maybe they should be smoking cigarettes behind the school. Because that's what I did, and look how great I turned out. Yeah, I don't know. They don't know how to do anything. And it's getting worse and worse, honestly. Like, I hate on boomers, and I absolutely hate boomers at this point, but they had like actual skills. Like, I always pick on my dad, but he's a union electrician, retired now. But this guy could do anything. He could roof. He could do siding. He could fix any vehicle. He could do sheetrock, flooring. My dad built a house by himself, did everything, I think, except the foundation and the plumbing, which he still helped. And, I can't do all that stuff. It's possible. I've done it, but I don't have all those. Like, they had all the tools, they were organized. Like, that just wasn't me, man. And I think that's our generation. We kind of are like a crossover generation, between the boomers and now. And we're like the last of the Mohicans. We developed a personality before the drop in IQ, and but we never got all those skills. I'm more of like a Renaissance man. I'm a master of none, but I can do a lot of things. I just never really stuck with any of them because I didn't really give a fuck. And these kids today, they don't have a single fucking skill. They can't even have a conversation or look you in the eyes. They can't talk on the phone. They can only text. And they can only speak in this retarded language. It's like this weird ghetto talk that they do. I can't even really explain it because it's not like fully black. It's not like ghetto as in like black people ghetto. It's like this weird white stupid suburban thing that they're doing. And it's very irritating because I grew up like half in the country and half in a city that was ghetto. And I never talked any different than I do now, honestly. Like, my accent has changed a bit since I left New York because I haven't lived there most of my adult life at this point. So my New York accent is pretty much gone. But, man, I mean, people don't even know who the fuck they are at this point. And it's like, you could be self-aware that you've changed and you've become somebody else and you're looking at TikTok too much if you're like 30 years old. But like, if you're 15 and that's all you know and your parents didn't help you at all, they really fucked you because you're screwed. You're not going to be able to have a real job, and you're not going to, like, these kids haven't really faced adversity like in the traditional sense. They're fucked because they grew up online and the pandemic happened and it set them back socially. And that's where like the can't look you in the eyes and can't have a conversation with you thing is. But also they're fucked like intellectually because they don't even realize that they're fucked. Like, I've been fucked before, but I knew it the whole time. And when you don't know you're fucked and you are, that's even worse. So, and I guess like my generation, if because I'm seeing a girl that's daughter is 15, and this kid is actually pretty smart and she's really good in school. But like, all those things apply with like the weird fucking social media stuff and like the not being able to have a real conversation. She's kind of an outlier though. But I see her stupid little friends too, and I just, like, I see these, like, one of these dudes. I don't like when people are standing too close to me. And, like, yo, there's a 38-year-old man that can beat the fuck out of you, and you're like standing behind me doing weird shit. Like, I might elbow a 15-year-old boy. I might fucking elbow you if you get too close to me. And then I'll go to jail. Whereas, like, when I was 15, if I was fucking around like a retard in front of a dude that was 40 years old and they smacked the shit out of me, everybody would say it was my fault because it was. And, none of these kids get in like fights or brawls anymore because nowadays people sue and you will get arrested. And that's probably why. I mean, I don't get in fights that I should have gotten in because I do not want to go to jail. I've been locked up before. It's not fun. When your freedom is taken away, it's probably the worst thing ever. So I avoid fights at all costs at this point, but I've been in plenty of fist fights in my life, and it definitely, exponentially affected who I am in a positive way. And these kids do not get in fights. They don't know how to fight. And it's like MMA. The UFC used to be cool when it was like street brawler dudes that came off the street and trained a bit, and then they could beat the fuck out of people, and they were psychos and they were on steroids and they were doing real crimes and shit. And then it's like now the new generation of MMA fighter. Like I don't even watch UFC anymore, but it's like kids that came up in an MMA gym and they like did it for a sport and fucking they wanted to train from there when they were little. It's like, nah, man, you need to like go get in a gang fight in a bowling alley. You need to go like get in a brawl at a keg party, and you need to be attacked by ghetto hoodlums in your vehicle and survive it for me to have any respect for you. Okay. I was at a bowling alley the other day and it reminded me of this story. I was with 4 of my friends. We were hanging out with these girls. I was 17, 18. One of my friends was a little bit younger. The other 2 were my age. We had beef with these black kids from my school because it was the hood, and we weren't necessarily a gang, but we were an organized group of teenagers, let's say, that would do things. These kids were a gang, and I don't know what they were called, like Smith Street or something. I don't know, but we had beef with them because they were like picking on the younger members of my crew. And, we had some words. There had been a couple scuffles. But on this particular occasion, we were at the bowling alley. There's 4 of us. We were with 4 girls from a different town that we had just met that night. And it was our first time hanging out with them. And I see these ghetto black kids shuffling in. And there's fucking 15 and 20 of them. There's a ton of these kids. And we're in their territory, technically. Like right on the borderline. And we just knew it was going to be bad. And what's funny is we were all on ecstasy at the time. So you can fight, but also you're in this like weird state of mind, obviously, like you're on drugs. And I don't even think those girls knew we were on ecstasy. They might have. But like we were partying hard. And at one point, I don't know what happened. Like we were looking at them, they were looking at us, and then all of a sudden we just got swarmed by all 15, 20 of these kids. And it was just a fucking melee. And honestly, we beat the shit out of most of them. One of my friends got seriously hurt and had to go to the hospital in that fight. I came out completely unscathed. I must have beat the shit out of 4 of them myself. I was telling my friend the other day at the bowling alley when I was there, I was beating up one of them on the thing that the ball comes up on and sits that you go grab it on. I was beating the shit out of one of these kids, and because black dudes, when you fight black dudes, they're strong and they can fight, but it's like wild swings and like weird movements, and it's not impossible to beat the shit out of them. So I'm beating the shit out of this one on the ball thing, and I feel this like wind on the back of my head, like something was swung at me, and I continued on. Then I feel the wind again, and I turn around, and it's this scrawny ass fucking ghetto kid, and he swings at me again and misses again when I'm looking at him. So I chase his ass down the bowling lane. And I caught him and I literally threw him into bowling pins like a bowling ball. And I look over and my other friend, I'm not going to mention any names, he had a bowling ball thrown at him. He was swarmed by many of them. And a chair was thrown at him. And he had to get stitches and all this shit. The other 3 of us were fine. Like we held our own, but he got swarmed by like 7 of them because I think they were after him in the first place. So we had to take him to the hospital after that. Anyway, the point of all this is none of these kids have done any of this except for like actual still ghetto kids that are also TikTok retards in the hood right now. And like none of these white kids, like we were all white. My whole crew was white, mostly Italian, some other shit too. And none of these white kids that are my friends' kids are ever going to do any of that shit. And it's probably not good. I don't know. I just hope it works out for them, honestly. Like I don't want anybody to fail in life, but at the same time, it doesn't look good. So I guess that's it for now. There'll be more of this kind of talk though. See you later.